Hate-filled anti-Semitic flyers appeared yesterday morning in the small beach town of Brigantine, New Jersey. Residents discovering the flyers with Nazi insignias from a group called the Goyim Defense League, blaming COVID, abortion, inflation, all sorts of other issues on a list of Jewish officials in the White House, Department of Justice, the CIA, the State Department, and media companies led by Jewish owners or executives. Similar flyers were found earlier this month on Long Island, and just last week in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this summer in Palm Beach and other places across the country. This comes as the Anti-Defamation League says they've seen an extraordinary rise in anti-Semitic attacks in 2021, more than any time in the group's 43-year history. Joining us now is Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League. Jonathan, this is so disturbing. Why do you see this rise in anti-Semitism now?
Andrea, this is indeed an incredibly disturbing incident, but unfortunately it's part of this broader pattern. This group, the Goyim Defense League, we've tracked, as we do, more than 250 propaganda incidents across the country where they've left flyers like you showed in that clip, or they've put out signs or stickers specifically targeting the Jewish community. So as you said, this comes on the heels of a record number of anti-Semitic incidents in the country. And this year alone, this group, the GDL, has more than tripled the number of propaganda acts targeting Jews, making them feel incredibly vulnerable all over the United States.
And this is not just happening in Jewish communities.
No, not at all. The goal is to terrorize Jews and the people around them. So in that town, Brigantine, New Jersey, that doesn't have a notable Jewish population per se. But in states across America, we've seen, I think it's something like 17 different states thus far. Big cities, small towns, urban, suburban, rural. These groups are trying to spread fear and terrorize Jews all over the United States.
Tell our larger audience what the word, I think it's a Yiddish term, Goyim, means.
Yeah, Goyim means non-Jews. And this group is sort of a loose affiliation of anti-Semites. Again, they have people all over the country. But what they specialize in is spreading noxious, toxic anti-Semitism. I mean, imagine this for a moment. It's a group that's founded purely on the idea of trying to dehumanize and delegitimize Jewish people. And, you know, again, if you just look at the level of anxiety they're creating, people are very concerned.
And how do they organize? Is it all online messaging?
They organize online, so they use both the private web and the dark web to spread their message and to encourage people to do these kind of flyer drops all over the country. I mean, last year, just to put things in some perspective, we saw more than 4,850 propaganda incidences across the country targeting African Americans, Jews, Asian Americans, etc. But the Goyim Defense League specifically specializes in, again, trying to spread disgusting anti-Semitism. So they're a white supremacist organization with a deeply anti-Semitic agenda.
Now, there's another white supremacist website and its leader who affiliated at one point with the Republican candidate for governor of Pennsylvania, Mastriano, was hired, according to FEC terms, as a consultant, and were steering followers and supporters to Mastriano's website until the Philadelphia Inquirer and others, Rachel Maddow on this network, called him out, and he finally disavowed. This is his campaign against Josh Shapiro, the sitting attorney general, the Democrat.
That's right.
So you're seeing it in elected politics as well.
All over the country. So again, you have this guy, Andrew Torba, who runs a social media service called Gab, which is a cesspool of anti-Semitism and hate. And again, as you pointed out, Doug Mastriano, the Republican nominee for governor of Pennsylvania, has used Gab to get out campaign messages, et cetera. We have a state senator in Oklahoma who's running for office, who Carrie Lake just endorsed, the nominee for governor in Arizona. And he says he won't, quote, bow to the Jews. And it said awful anti-Semitic things. And then you have people running right here in the state of New York, where I'm located, saying disgusting kind of anti-Zionist things coming from the political left. It reminds us that anti-Semitism isn't, if you will, the sole property of any political party. It can happen across the spectrum, and all of it should alarm us.
Well, Jonathan Greenblatt, thank you so much. And the ADL on its website has, alerts as well as logs of a lot that's been happening on the dark web as well as the web.
Yeah.
Really, thank you so much for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you for covering this, Andrea.